Hey guys, this week on the show we have How to Host a Viking Funerals author Kyle Scheele. You've probably seen him on the internet. We're going to dive into what it means to regret something. So let's get 5 quick minutes with Kyle Scheele. What is the unifying theory of regret?
Basically, every single regret fell into one of like 5 categories. And I go into those categories in the book. They're beliefs, relationships, identities, experiences, and fears. And assuming that I could understand what a submission said, because some of them were vague or, the handwriting was bad or whatever, but assuming that I could read the regret and understand what it meant, like over and over again, despite there being 21,000 different submissions, they all kind of fell into one of these 5 different categories. And even though your regret might be very, very different than mine, just by identifying like sort of which category it falls into, it helps you figure out here's how to work through that. Here's how to process this and how to think about this. And sometimes just the knowing that, hey, it's a part of this category and there are plenty of other regrets in this category. Just that simple bit of knowledge helps you to go, oh, okay, it's like this. I've approached other things like this before. I'm not alone in doing this. So that's kind of how the book is broken down into these different sections. And actually I start with the last one and with fears, and I kind of work backwards towards beliefs. But yeah, that's sort of where the unified theory of regret comes in.
So when you say you've got a whole category of fear, dive into what that meant to you exactly. Like that, so because fear I thought was to me the most interesting one. Are you saying that people they regret that they were afraid of something, and that kept them from trying something that they later in life wish they'd have tried, or what exactly do you mean by fear?
Yeah, bingo. So the prompt that I asked for was not necessarily what's something you regret. It was what's something that you want to leave behind. What's something that you want to let go of from your past, which is sort of tied in with regret. That's a name that we put on that. And so one of the most common things that people said, I want to let go of this, or I want to leave this behind, or I wish I didn't have this, was a fear. And so it could be something like fear of, spiders, or fear of clowns. Like those were like specific ones that came through, but there were also like fear of being myself, fear of my own beliefs, or fear of like what other people think about me, or these different things. And over again, people just said, I've let my life be dominated by these things I'm afraid of, and I don't want to do that anymore.
Is there something that Kyle has done, speaking in the third person, that you regret?
Oh, there's all sorts of stuff that I regret. I mean, there's different things that have happened to, like you mentioned the Kyle Scheele meal. That I don't know what your understanding of that meal was, but that was like a thing that kind of blew up and then kind of blew up in my face. And there were people that were mad about it because it was basically an influencer campaign that was planned with this gas station and went viral beyond my wildest dreams. Like we kind of thought, like at the time, my videos, if they were doing really well, they would get like 1 million views. And so I thought, oh, if this campaign goes out there, like the most people that are going to see it is going to be like a fraction of my own audience. And then the first video did 35 million views, and it turned into this massive thing that was way bigger than we expected it to be. And then it was kind of like, I saw somebody once that said, going viral is not what you think it is, because it always means a bunch of people who have never seen your stuff before are now seeing your stuff. And so they have no context for who you are, or do they like you or not? They just see this one video. And so that like went really viral. And then people found out, oh, this was planned out with this gas station, and they got mad about it. And some people didn't care. And so looking back, I'm like, oh, I would totally do that completely different if I had to do that now. But at the same time, like, I think that sort of the message of the book is like, you can't change the past. Like I talk about that in there. Like we're not building a time machine here. We can't go back in time to undo any of this stuff. What's important isn't like that you would try to like just, oh, I should have done this differently and just dwell on that. It's really to learn, how do I do better in the future? And what did I learn from this thing? And I talk about the reason we think about regret is it's the same reason that coaches and athletes watch game tape, because like, hey, in the future I can't reshoot that basket, like at the buzzer or whatever, and I can't win state when I lost it or whatever, like, But what I can do is know that, hey, when I get into similar situations in the future, how do I react a little bit quicker, a little bit better, or a little bit more optimally? And so when I look back on the stuff from my life, I'm not sitting there and just going, oh, that sucks. I can't believe I did that. Instead, I'm going, man, what was the mistake that I made there? Or what was the mistake that was made by someone else, or whatever? And how can I learn from that and move on in the future?
Hey guys, if you'd like to hear the entire conversation that Kyle and I had about regret, about some of his experience in becoming a known internet personality, about his book, and watch me cook this pork loin here, make sure you go listen to the entire episode right where you found this episode, and we'll see you next time on the Slow Smoke Business Show.